is the NFL Game Day Final Mercedes-Benz postgame. Maurice Jones-Drew, I'm Brett Lewis. Pleasure to be back here with you. And another good one here in an AFC West divisional battle between these two teams. The Chargers now have swept the season series 34-27, and they came out in the second half after the free kick, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But they were on fire on that drive to really seal things that put them up 10.
And we talked about this being a playoff game, and that's what you saw really tonight, right? You saw two quarterbacks going at it. Early on, Bo Nix was on fire, couldn't be stopped.
Yeah.
The Chargers make a couple adjustments, and then you see playoff football, quarterbacks scrambling here for first down, staying in bounds, trying to get as many yards as you can. I mean, this game meant so much. Obviously, the running game picked up late.
This was such a big run here from Gus Edwards.
It's so funny because this run had nothing to, like, Gus Edwards did a great job, but this is all Barton on Scott Maddox. If we go back and we can show that again, and we'll kind of get into it.
Yeah.
Barton jumps around that block, and that opens up a hole for Gus Edwards. And again, you opened up the opportunity. You opened up the door for the Chargers to get away, and that's what happens. That's the kind of football the Chargers want to play. They're going to play smash-mouth football for 4 quarters. They're going to put a D tackle at tight end in Tucker Fisk, who's a D tackle at the University of Stanford. And then they're going to put a D tackle who plays in the NFL and Matlock at fullback. And they're going to force you guys to hit these guys over and over again. And then the one time you don't, that's when the straw's going to break the camel back. Again, I hope we can get it from the other angle, but you'll see Barton jump to the right instead of fitting the fullback up square, and that opens up just a huge hole. Again,
look at Matlock trailing the play, too. He's trying to dive on what he thought was a loose ball at the time. Obviously, Gus Edwards ended up being down there. But you and I talked about this often on our pregame show on NFL Game Day Kick before this game started. Like, outside of J.K. Dobbins, they had to find a way to get the run game going. They had to find a way.
So watch this.
Here it is.
Watch Matt. Look, jumps right out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
There goes your hole right there. If you're the linebacker,
Stern had it looked like too.
Well, he's coming from the weak side, right? Yeah. You can't in the league. You just can't run around blocks, and that's again. Barton did a great job this whole time of taking him on all game. But it's fourth quarter. It's late in the season. It's late in the ball game. You're tired. You're like, dude, I've been hitting this guy all. Yeah, I got to do this over and over again, and that gives the Chargers the advantage.
All right, let's take a look at your playoff picture now. So the Broncos squandered a real nice opportunity to punch their ticket to the postseason tonight. A win would have done it. Now they still can clinch this week, but they got to get a lot of help. They got to have losses by the Dolphins, the Bengals, and the Colts all together in order to clinch, or they got to win one of their next 2 games. So there's the clinching scenario for the Broncos. For the Chargers, they can now clinch. Remember, we said they needed 2 wins, but they can also clinch if the Colts and Dolphins both lose this week. Now that they got this win over the Broncos.
Right. Again,
so, huge game.
We talked about how this was a playoff game, and pretty much the Broncos lose and opens a door for everybody to get in. Yeah. Right? It opens the door for the Bengals to get in. Yeah. Which we talked about people not wanting. It opens the door for the Colts to get in.
Don't mess around and let the Bengals in now.
That's the one thing you don't want to do. And so when we go and look at the schedule of the Denver Broncos, the Chargers,
we'll get into that.
It's going to be crazy. But this second half came down to Justin Herbert making plays. Yeah. That's what I believe. At the end of the day, he just made more plays with his arm and his legs than the Denver Broncos defense was able to do. They did a great job here. This was a game changer right here, right? You're scrambling. He's rolling. I mean, the offensive line really got into it. There was a lot of penalties, too, on Denver, too. Let me say that, too. Denver opened up the door with a lot of the penalties they allowed on 2 of those drives.
61.
Well, there was 2 drives where they got a personal foul. They got 2 personal fouls on 2 drives that really kept the drive going. They ended up being touchdowns.
Yeah, Herbert came out in the 3rd quarter. He was 5 for 5 for 54 yards, and they had the rushing touchdown from Gus Edwards. And we'll get to what the catalyst really felt like it was, which, of course, was that free kick on the last play of the first half. More on that here in just a minute. But we also have an opportunity with our Bridget Condon, who is over at SoFi Stadium for us tonight. Following the game, had a chance to catch up with Ladd McConkey, who ended up with 6 catches for 87 yards tonight.
You talked all week about how your team needed to respond, get that bad taste out of their loss after that loss on Sunday. How did it feel to get this done tonight?
Oh, it was huge. I mean, we came out, a little slower than expected, winning at halftime, and Derwin was like, hey, let's play our best half of football right here. We came out, we did what we had to do, we got the win, so I'm super pumped up for the guys.
Just before halftime, you guys get 3 points thanks to a free kick field goal by Cameron Dicker. What kind of spark did that give your team just before the half?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. Get points. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know if you score before halftime, you have a greater chance of winning. So Coach Vic and Coach Beep actually covered that this week. Was like, hey, be alert, this happens. It's something we just bring up every now and then. So we were ready. It happened. I didn't think it would ever really happen, but it did. So we were ready.
You guys actually covered doing a free kick field goal in practice this week?
Coach Vic and Coach Beep, yeah.
That's awesome. And Justin Herbert, your quarterback, dealing with ankle injury throughout this entire week, the past couple of weeks. To see him kind of extend some of those plays with his legs and fight through anything tonight, what's that like as his teammate?
Oh, he's a dog. I mean, he's out there putting everything out on the line. So I know if he's on our team and he's out there, we got a shot. So super proud of him and thankful he's on our team.
A Colts loss and a Dolphins loss this weekend, and you guys are into the playoffs. What does it mean to be a part of this team this season?
It's awesome. I mean, just coming here as a rookie, all the guys, all the coaches, they've welcomed me with open arms. So I'm just trying to embrace it, take it one game at a time. So we wanted to, put it in our hands. We didn't want to rely on somebody else. And I feel like we took a step in that direction today.
Will you be watching those games this weekend?
I mean, we have a couple of days off, so we'll see. I'm sure I'll turn it on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love that smile, man. That's
young lad.
Hey, you were telling us about what young lad was capable of, and hey, look, he didn't get Patrick Surtain a lot in this game.
He did, but they were running routes. They ran so many crossing routes that Surtain had to go over the top, and it was able to create separation. Again, look at these. Like, he's covered. There's Surtain was covering him on that play, but he went over the top. They did a great job of running a lot of what we call mesh concept, where you have two crossers lower, one going over top of them. And again, getting him the ball in space, he did a heck of a job, man. Just the game plan overall, the ability to go up and make catches when needed. He did a lot. He did everything.
Yeah, and look, we talked pregame a lot about the way that the run game had kind of fallen off in the absence of J.K. Dobbins for the Chargers. And look, it was not, like overly prolific tonight, but, Gus Edwards with the 43-yard run when it counted, when you had to have it. Haskins contributed in the pass game on that touchdown. Vidal, five carries, 24 yards, and then Herbert made some big runs.
Well, we talked about being consistent and stubborn with the running game and just running the football regardless of what's going on. And that's why that 43-yarder broke. Yeah. They just stuck with the running game, where last week they abandoned the running game. You had 11 rushes for 30-some yards. This time, Herbert obviously helped it, but they stuck with the running game. 28 rushes for 117 yards. That is the kind, we talked about it, 30, 35, 40 carries or rushes in a game is what they want to get to, and that's where you get this big one late down the field.
That's right. And just as you talked about it with some of those kind of ISO moments between a fullback and a linebacker.
There goes 44 again, just running into people, right? Like, not many times people want to get him going. And then, like I said, Herbert with some timely just QB runs, finding a way to keep it going.
Yeah, and look, they got it done. And look, we also talked a lot about, as you look at this quarterback comparison, it was actually pretty even. I mean, Herbert had the interception that was costly, right? At the down near, it was just outside the red zone.
Yeah, it's like 25-yard line.
Yeah, and it was picked off by Abram Strain.
You know what I see on this? Yeah. Too many throws for Bo Nix. 40 is way too much.
Oh, well, you remember the inscription on Sean Payton's play sheet.
Yeah.
Now, look, they ran it, not quite enough. But they had 110 yards. Yeah. I mean, it was barely.
It's just not enough.
Let's look at the defense. Oh, this is going to be a little bit of what we saw from the Broncos in general here in the second half, which definitely saw a drop-off.
Well, when you can't run the football, you're in third and longs. Yeah. You're in second and longs. And here, this is the play. That
should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, I told you. There's a thing I hate when players do. That right there, my bads. We know it's your bad. We need you to make these throws. And I get it, you're a rookie, but my gosh, he's wide open, right? Like, those, look. I understand exactly what Sean Payton's saying. We need you to make these plays.
Yeah. But, I think a lot of times on those, when it's that wide open, right? You're just trying not to miss, and in doing so, that's a wrong way to.
Yeah, you practice these plays so much. I want people to understand you do routes on air, and I'm not saying Bo Nix did a terrible job tonight. I'm just saying in playoff caliber games, your quarterback has to make plays. We talked about it, right? Yeah. In our pregame show, the game day kickoff, I said the reason I get nervous about rookie quarterbacks is that when the moment gets big enough, you have to rise to the occasion.
Yes.
that was a chance to put this game away. That double move, you have a chance to put it away, and it just didn't happen. And so that's what scares me a little bit about the Denver Broncos. They have the ability and they have the players to go out there and do it. It's just your players are young and they have to be able to make plays.
All right, looking at the first half and second half comparison, I mean, look, it wasn't, as you said, like, it was not bad, but you talk about missed opportunities, those don't show up on the stat sheet. And you want to talk about what we saw. They scored touchdowns in their first 3 possessions of this game. Did not find the end zone
in the second half
at all after that. I mean, it was punt, punt, field goal, punt, 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 field goal.
That's a lot of possessions.
Hey, and certainly credit to Jesse Minter's defense, because it was hot knife through butter in those first 3 drives, and they figured it out a little bit. Let's go back to SoFi Stadium, where Broncos head coach Sean Payton is now